Have you ever felt like your things break on a schedule? Like there is some invisible clock ticking away inside them? You buy a new gadget. It comes with a warranty, maybe 1 year. And for that first year, it works just fine. Then the warranty ends. And what happens? A few weeks later, maybe a month or two, the thing breaks. As if it had been waiting. You call for help, and you get the bad news. I'm sorry, your warranty ended last month. The repair will cost you. And you stand there thinking, how is that even possible? It broke right after the cover ran out. What are the odds? Here is the truth. The odds are not an accident. That timing is not bad luck. In many cases, it was planned. Companies have found ways to guess, quite closely, how long a product will last. And far too often, they aim that lifespan at one very specific target, just past the end of the warranty. In this video, I am going to show you how they do it, and why so much of what you buy seems to die the very moment you are no longer protected. Because these products were not built to last. They were built to fail, right on cue. Let's start with a simple, powerful idea. Every product has a lifespan that is, at least in part, chosen. When engineers design something, they make thousands of small choices. What metal to use? How thick to make a part? What quality of little pieces to put inside? And every one of those choices changes how long the thing will last. Here is the key point. They can aim high, or they can aim low. They can pick the strong metal, the thick part, the good piece, and build something that lasts for decades. Or they can pick the thin, the cheap, and the weak, and build something that gives out far sooner. It is a dial they can turn, more lasting or less lasting. Now, in an honest world, they would aim to make things last as long as they possibly could. But we do not live in that world, because a thing that lasts forever is only sold once. So instead, many companies turn that dial to a very careful setting. Not so weak that it breaks while still under warranty, because then they would have to fix it for free. But not so strong that it lasts for many years, because then you would not come back to buy another. They aim for the sweet spot, just past the warranty, long enough that they do not have to pay, short enough that you do. So how do they hit that target so well? They do it by building in a weak link. Think of a chain. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. It does not matter how strong all the other links are. The chain breaks at the weakest one. Products are exactly the same. A gadget fails at its weakest part. So the companies test their products over and over to find out which part fails first and when. And then they can tune it. If they want the product to die a little sooner, they can make that weak part just a little weaker or add a weak part on purpose. It is like planting a tiny time bomb inside, set to go off right after the warranty ends. Let me give you a real, famous example. Years ago, many computers and televisions started dying young, all at once, across the whole world. Screens would go dark. Machines would refuse to turn on. And when repair people opened them up, they kept finding the same tiny culprit, again and again. A small part called a capacitor. These little parts had been made cheaply, with a bad recipe. And after a year or two of use, they would swell up, leak, and fail. One tiny, cheap part, no bigger than a pill, was killing huge, expensive machines by the millions. A whole computer, dead, because of a part that cost pennies. That is the power of the weakest link. And it shows just how little it takes to make a big machine die right on time. Here is another example, one that might be sitting in your bathroom right now. The electric toothbrush. Many electric toothbrushes have a rechargeable battery sealed inside the handle. Now, they seal it up to make the handle waterproof, which sounds reasonable enough. But here is what it really means. After 2 or 3 years, that battery, like all batteries, gets tired. It stops holding a charge. Soon it barely lasts through one brushing. And because the handle is sealed shut, you cannot change the battery. The brush head still works. The motor still works. But the one worn-out part, the battery, is locked away where you cannot reach it. So you throw away the entire handle, motor and all, and buy a whole new brush. A perfectly good machine, killed by one small battery that you were never allowed to replace. Sealed, on purpose, with a timer inside. Now, here is one of the biggest clues that all of this is on purpose. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The extended warranty. You know the moment. You are buying something, and the salesperson leans in. Would you like to add the extended warranty? Just a little extra, and you are covered for 3 more years. They push it hard. Sometimes they push it harder than the product itself. Stop and think about what that really means. A company is offering to bet you that their own product will break, and they are very, very good at making that bet. These extended warranties are hugely profitable for them, which can only mean one thing. They have done the math. They know how often their products fail and roughly when. If their things almost never broke, the warranty would be a money loser for them, and they would not push it so hard. So the very same company that promises you a wonderful, reliable product is also quietly betting, with a smile, that it will break soon enough for them to profit from your worry. That is not the behavior of a company that builds things to last. It is the behavior of one that knows exactly when its things will die. And sometimes, this gets so blatant that it ends up in court. There was a famous case brought against a big company. Customers claimed the company had built a secret expiration date into its ink cartridges. On that hidden date, the cartridge would simply stop working and lock away any ink still left inside. Not because the ink had run out, not because anything had broken, just because a hidden clock said, "Time is up." A death date, written in from the very start. When it comes out into the open like that, you see the whole game for what it truly is. A countdown, hidden inside the things you own. So who wins from all of this? The companies, of course. By aiming their products to die just after the warranty, they get the best of both worlds. They almost never have to pay for a free repair. And you come back to buy again, far sooner than you ever should have to. Add in the money they make selling you the extended warranty on top, and it becomes a perfect machine for taking your money again and again. And who loses? You do. You pay for thing after thing, each one dying right on schedule, each one draining a little more from your wallet. And the planet loses too. A world of gadgets and machines, all designed to hit their death date and get thrown away, becomes a world drowning in waste. Good products, killed by a tiny weak part, chosen on purpose, timed to the calendar. And this is the pattern behind everything on this channel. The bulb with the weakened thread, the printer with the counting chip, the fridge and the washer with their sealed parts. And now the gadget with the built-in weak link, timed to the warranty. Different products. The very same cold idea. Do not build it to last. Build it to die, at the exact moment that makes the most money. Now, you might be thinking, is this really true? Can a company really aim a product to die at a certain age? It sounds almost too clever and too cruel to be real. But here is the thing. There is a whole science to this. It is called life testing. In big labs, companies take their products and wear them out on purpose, fast. They open and close a fridge door tens of thousands of times with a machine. They run a washing machine day and night without stopping. They flex a phone, press a button, and heat and cool a chip over and over, thousands upon thousands of times, just to see exactly when it breaks. From this, they learn, with real accuracy, how long each part will last in your home. They know the numbers. So when a product dies just after its warranty, you should understand that this is not a company that was surprised. This is a company that measured and knew and chose. And people have gone looking for proof of this. In Germany, for example, there were serious investigations into whether products were being built to die too soon. Researchers and consumer groups gathered example after example and complaint after complaint of machines failing suspiciously fast, often just after their warranty had run out. While it can be very hard to prove a single hidden plan inside a single product, the overall picture was clear and troubling. Again and again, things that could have lasted for many years were giving up far too early. Enough that this idea of planned early death became a real public worry, talked about in newspapers, and even in government. Let's go back to that tiny part one mentioned, the capacitor. It is worth understanding, because it shows just how small the weak link can be. A capacitor is a little component, and good ones are cheap and reliable. But for a while, a wave of bad, cheaply made ones spread through the whole industry. They were built to a poor recipe, and after a year or two of heat and use, they would bulge, leak, and die. Whole televisions, computer screens, and machines were killed by these little parts, worth just pennies each. Now, some of that was a genuine mistake in manufacturing, but it taught the industry a chilling lesson. You do not need to weaken the big, expensive parts to kill a machine. You only need one small, cheap, hidden part to give out at the right time. And a small part is very easy to control. Think about how that changes everything. A company does not have to make an obvious, insulting decision to build a flimsy product. They can build most of it beautifully. A strong case, a lovely screen, a fast chip, and then, buried deep inside, One modest little part that is just a bit too weak, quietly counting down. The product feels premium and solid right up until the day that one hidden part lets go. And then the whole thing is dead, and you never once suspect that its death was planned from the very start. Now let's talk about the warranty itself, because it plays a clever trick on your mind. When you buy something with a warranty, you feel safe, protected. You think, if anything goes wrong, they will look after me. And so you relax. You do not worry about how long the thing will last, because you feel covered. But look closely at what the warranty really is. It is a promise that lasts for a set amount of time, and then simply stops. And on the other side of that line, you are on your own. So the warranty is not really a sign that the product will last. It is a line drawn on a calendar, marking the exact point where the company stops caring. And far too often, the product is quietly designed to stay alive right up to that line, and not much further. The warranty makes you feel safe, while secretly acting as the very finish line the product is built to reach, and then cross into failure. Picture the everyday version of this. A family buys a new fridge, or a laptop, or a lawnmower. It comes with a 1-year warranty, so they feel good about it. The year passes. Everything is fine. Then, in month 13 or month 14, it fails. Just weeks after the cover ended. They feel unlucky. They feel foolish, even, for not buying the extended warranty. But they were not unlucky, and they were not foolish. They simply met a finish line that had been drawn for them, long before they ever brought the thing home. And here's a question worth sitting with. Why do companies bother with all this cleverness? Why not just make things cheaply and flimsily, and be done with it? Because they have learned something subtle. If a product breaks too soon, while it is clearly still new, people get angry. They blame the brand. They tell their friends. They leave bad reviews. They demand their money back. And all of that is bad for business. But if the product lasts just long enough, past the warranty, feeling solid and reliable the whole way through, then when it finally dies, most people do not blame the company at all. They just shrug. They say, well, I got a few good years out of it. They may even go and buy the very same brand again. So the perfect death is not too early and not too late. It is a death timed so carefully that you keep your warm feelings about the company and simply come back for more. That is the dark genius of aiming for just past the warranty. It takes your money and your loyalty at the very same time. So no, you are not imagining it. The clock is real. The measuring is real. And the careful aiming, just past the warranty, is real. It is not magic, and it is not bad luck. It is math, done in a lab, turned into a plan, and hidden inside the thing you carried home. Once you truly understand that, something shifts. You stop feeling cursed every time something breaks. And you start looking at every new purchase with a clear, calm, and knowing eye. So how do you fight back? You have more power than you think. First, use the warranty itself as a clue. A short warranty, of just 1 year, can be a quiet warning. It may mean the company does not trust its own product to last much longer than that. But a long warranty, 5 years or even 10, is a company putting its money where its mouth is. When a maker offers a long warranty, they are betting the product will last. That is a very good sign. Seek those makers out. Second, be careful with extended warranties. Remember, the company is offering that bet because it usually wins. For cheaper items, it is often not worth it. Sometimes the money you would spend on years of extended warranties would be better kept in your own pocket, ready for a repair, or even a replacement, if it ever comes to that. Third, know the common weak parts, and check if they can be fixed. Before you throw a thing away, find out what actually failed. Very often it is a small, cheap, well-known part. A battery, a capacitor, a switch. Search your product's name along with the words common fault. You will often find that other people hit the very same problem, at the very same age, and that the fix is far cheaper than a whole new machine. Fourth, register your product and keep your receipt. If a thing does fail while under warranty, do not let them wriggle out of it. Hold them to their promise. And if something breaks suspiciously soon after the warranty ends, it is worth a polite but firm phone call. Companies will sometimes still help, especially if you make it clear that you know the failure came far too soon. And most of all, remember the trick. When your gadget dies right after the warranty, you now know that clock was very likely set on purpose. That knowledge takes away their power to surprise you. And a customer who is not surprised is a customer who is far harder to fool. So the next time something you own breaks, just weeks after the warranty runs out, Do not curse your bad luck, because it may not be luck at all. It may be a plan, ticking away quietly since the day it was made. A death date, hidden inside, waiting for the exact moment when you would have to pay. Your things were not meant to last a lifetime. Too often, they were meant to last just long enough. Just past the warranty, and not a single day more. This is just one trick among many. On this channel, we keep pulling them apart, one by one, and showing you the hidden clocks inside the things you trust. Because once you can see the countdown, you can finally stop being caught by surprise. So stick around. There is a whole lot more to uncover.